That's huge. Anything you do that makes yourself completely different from everybody else is going to get you the job. And I think everybody else goes in there, tells them the same thing, and they end up just being the same. When I walk away, there's no doubt in their mind, not that I get every listing, but there's no doubt in their mind that that guy was different. So that's what I strive for on every presentation.
You know, I'm going to go away from the questions and ask you guys something that is not on this list, but this is all your competition here, right? I mean, you guys are competition with each other. Now, maybe not within your micro markets, but for the most part. Why are you willing to be up here sharing your secrets of your success with your competition?
You know, that's the biggest fallacy in the world. You know, Jeff Glover's probably 2 miles away, does the same volume I do. I don't know that I've ever competed on a listing appointment in the last year with Jeff. Michelle Safford's in the office a mile away. Maybe in my career, I've competed on Michelle maybe 2 times. To think that, you know, that we're each other's competition, it's silly. It really is. There's so much business out there. If I close 250 deals this year, maybe, I don't even think I would hit 1% of the market. So, I mean, if I did 1,000 deals, I still might not even hit 1% of the market. Commerce is where I live, that's where I do most of my business. 30 houses sell a month. If I sell 2 of them, everyone thinks I sell all the houses in Commerce. So, you know, we're really not each other's competition, that's the bottom line.
And my attitude is this: if I could raise every realtor to a higher level, that would do phenomenal. That'd be wonderful in our business, because I think half the issues we deal with are dealing with agents on the other end who don't know what they're doing, and that increases our workload. I mean, it's and the other thing too is whenever you get on a panel, I've been on a lot of panels. I learn a lot too. You know, I mean, when you prepare for a panel, you're basically reinforcing your own things within yourself. Sometimes, you know, I've gone on a panel. And I realized I said something, you know what, I haven't done that in 3 months. I better start doing that again. I mean, so, it's definitely really helpful that way.
And I've sat in audiences just like you, looking at top producer panels for quite a while, and I'm just excited to share anything that will help to benefit your business, just like I've gained from other panels.
I think for me, I mean, it's just you get by giving. Everything in life is full circle, and at some point, sharing knowledge, helping agents grow their business, helping them get to the next level will come back to me at some point.
Yeah. By the way, I didn't know these people. I mean, I followed them before I got here, but I didn't know them. But again, here's a common theme that I'm hearing coming from contribution from you guys. I think you guys have an abundance philosophy instead of a scarcity philosophy. It's really eye-opening to listen for me up here. So, okay. Thanks. Hey, Jeff, where does your business come from? How do you find your business every day?
Most of my business is from phone prospecting to expired for sale by owners and past clients.
Past clients?
Past clients.
Prospecting. How many calls do you make in a day?
Anywhere from, on a bad day, 20 contacts, on an average day, 25 to 30.
What's a contact?
A decision-making adult answering the phone and saying hello. And if you get the kid or the nanny, you just ask for the parent's cell phone, and they usually give it out. Then they get in trouble when they get home.
Sue, where's your business come from?
Well, it had a big shift last year when I was able to get this big investor contract. Last year was about 85% driven from one investor and the leads that were generated from that investor, and then about 15% past clients and referrals from them.
Probably half the business is past clients and Sphere. The other half of the business, buying the business, advertising, marketing, things like that, things that I never really could do. Up until last year, I just, honestly, I kind of got sick of the prospecting, hitting the ground running, and you know, made some good money, put some away, and you know, once you get to that point, then you can actually go out and buy the business, like I said. So. For 8 years. Yeah, I got into real estate because I lost my job. Graduated from college and lost my job, and so I was doing real estate and bartending. Doing real estate during the day, bartending at night, for probably 2 years, putting in almost 100 hours a week between the two. Had no money, so like I said, I closed about 30 deals a year for 2 years. Saved some money, wasn't married at the time. And then, like I said, I ran into Mike Ferry, learned the scripts, started the coaching, spent $1,000 a month, put it on a credit card, took a chance. Listings started coming, started making more money. Averaged between $200,000 and $400,000 a year for a few years. Saved my money until I got to this point where I can start buying the business, because I'll be honest, I'm not, I'm sure you guys have all heard of Dave Abdallah, Jeff Glover. These guys love prospecting. They live and die for picking up the phone. I don't, I'll be honest, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, that's what I love doing every day. I don't, but I did it until I saved up enough money that I could start buying the business.
Martin, where's your business coming
On the buyer side, I always separate buyers and sellers because they're two totally different types of business. On my buyer side, 53% of the transactions come from people who know me. That's whether it be past clients, referrals from past clients, referrals from other realtors, or see-buy from the team. 33% comes from the internet. And that used to be 45%, so it's interesting how that is decreasing, and that's something I'm keeping a real tight eye on. Sign calls are 8%, walk-ins are 2%. Then on the seller side,
Yeah, man, can I this guy knows numbers?
on the listing side, 64% are from people who know me, whether that be circle of influence, past clients, referrals from past clients, referrals from realtors. And interestingly enough, 20% of the sellers now are coming from the internet, and that's a brand new trend. Last year it was 1%. And what I'm noticing, what's really happened this year, that's why it's really important, I think, you get a web page. Sellers, even if they know you, what they're doing now, they're getting referrals from people. They came out, who would you go with? Who would you go with? And then they're going to the internet and checking you out on the internet. And that's something that's just started this last year. So we get 20% of that. 5% are orphans. And orphans, if you know what that is where another agent's buyer bought one of my listings, and we stay in touch with them via mail and all of our different marketing programs, unless it's a realtor that I know very well and like and know she'll do a good job. I'm not going to cross their toes. And then expires 3%, and just miscellaneous marketing 6%. Those are like just sold cards, those type of things.
So how many of us know where our listing leads are trending from? It's really how you know your numbers is amazing. Hey, it looks like we're gonna, do I have your permission to run over just a few minutes, maybe 5-10 minutes? Are you guys okay with that? What time are you at right now? 20 after. So, all right, we'll get through it quickly here, but we have a longer break, so I'm gonna use your time for these guys. Martin, what's the issue of the day today? What is the issue of the day in real estate?
The big issue is no one's happy. You've got sellers who think they're giving their house away, think buyers are paying too much, and then appraisers who think it's even worth, even less. I mean, that's probably one of the biggest issues we're dealing with, especially in Ann Arbor right now, because we're actually seeing prices bounce back just a little bit, and we're having major problems with appraisals. But the other big thing is obviously sellers who are upside down. I would say right now, 1/3 of the listings in our MLS are rentals. And I don't know, we're doing it because I want to keep the people in my database. But what's happening is, I would say probably 30% of the listings that go on, as I start talking about market value and everything else, is realize, Martin, we can't sell, we have to rent. And so those are the big issues that we're dealing with right now.
Mark, I'm sorry.
For me, it's time management, because I want to stick to a 40-hour work week. So, it's always finding time in the day and just trying to delegate everything. So, I'm not taking up the time.
And I would agree with what was said earlier. Appraisals are a very big issue, and looking for creative ways to have sellers realize that their house is not worth anything more, and have buyers realize that this is a good deal on this. Last Saturday, I was challenged with one of my equity sellers who just felt that this offer was way too low. So I took comps out and I made the seller and her husband play the role of the appraiser. I gave them the comps. I said, you pick out the 3 that will support the price you want to get out of this house. Those 3 didn't quite exist, so they signed a contract. But it's dealing with appraisals and issues of value right now.
A couple things that come to mind. Number one, big issue right now is trying to determine a seller or buyer's true motivation. And I think it's really only through good sales training that you can get good at asking questions, using NLP, different techniques to really get to somebody's motivation, because I think we focus too much on the surface of, well, you know, we really need a bigger house for our family. Well, why is it you need a bigger house for your family? What's important about that? How is that important to you? Ultimately, what will that do for you? We really have to dig deeper with buyers and sellers on their motivation. Otherwise, we can't help them, and we could lose them because we're not focusing on the real motivation. So I think that's a big thing that we need to focus on right now in the market. And for me personally, just always surrounding myself with people that are doing better and thinking bigger.
That's great. When do you walk away from the listing, Jeff?
When you're at the table, well, first of all, 40% of the listing appointments we set, we don't go on. We cancel them before we get to the house through using the pre-qualifying script, which is in the Keller Williams systems and models. So a lot of them we don't even go on, so it's not so much when we're out there that we're walking away from them as much because we cancel them on the phone. But if you are at an appointment and they're being a knucklehead up front, chances are they're going to be a knucklehead all the way through. Why would you want to deal with that person and waste your time and have them in your inventory? So at the table, if they're not willing to do what you know is the right thing and what you know is best for them, then that's when you have to say, you know, there's plenty of other agents that are starving out there who would love to have your listing, and I'm not that one.
I would agree with Jeff to weed them out in the beginning, but sometimes you take those listings and realize in the first couple of weeks that they are just going to be a pain to deal with. I mean, somebody who's calling you 4 or 5 times a day, who wants to know, 4 hours after you've listed them, why they aren't on Realtor.com yet, and everything. So that was hard for me to do when I only had 10 or 20 listings, but when you have the listing inventory over 80, it's just one person is going to waste your time, and I will gladly cancel out a listing very early in the process if they want to control the listing rather than doing what I suggest.
I never walk away from a listing because we do the seller counseling interview. We have about 30 questions that we ask them before they come in. So when they get to our office, they already know the price we're going to list it at, they know the terms, they know the commission, everything's already set. There's really no reason to ever walk away. If we don't agree on price, then they're signing automatic price reductions, and then I'll still take it at their price as long as they sign the automatic price reductions. Otherwise, they never make it into the office, I never make it to their home, and it's just a dead deal before it even starts.
Are your automatic price reductions part of your listing agreement?
Yeah.
There's a date and a increment that's going to drop.
Correct. I think there's 3 of them in there.
Yep.
We try to get all 3. Sometimes we'll get 1 or 2, but that's the only way we'll take it at their price.
How many days is your first triggering event?
Every 3 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Yeah, every 21 days.
Okay. Martin, when do you walk away from it?
I'll walk away from a listing if I feel the seller's going to be unrealistic on price. But even then, it's not that simple. There's a time, because keep in mind, a lot of people are in denial. You know how many times you say, no, Martin, I really don't have to sell my house. I mean, that's the defense mechanism coming out. And I'll just sit and really start asking questions. I want to find out the motivation. I had a classic example where a woman said, Martin, I got this price, I don't really have to sell. But she broke her hip. She was in a 2-story house. The bedrooms are upstairs. She's 72 years old. She's on an 1.5 acre of land. And as I was talking to her, she kept saying, I can't keep this up, I can't, so of course she had to sell. She wasn't going to let me know. I took that at a higher price than what I wanted because I knew that her motivation was there. Now, if I wouldn't have done all those questions and stuff like that and really tried to find out and build rapport with her, I probably would have walked from the listing. So it's not as cut and dry. And I always tell people that sellers go through the 4 stages of grief. I mean, first they go through denial, and then they go through anger, and then they finally go through bargaining. They say, well, Martin, if we do this, can we, and then finally they just accept it. And sometimes you have to ride that with the seller, but you have to be,